folks, Evil DM here. I'm back with another episode of my new series here, Palladium Book, which I've dubbed to Railguns and Dragons. So, let's see here. I'm going to talk a little bit. I actually had a question from one of my viewers here, or subs on here, named Big G. And since I started doing, he said, well, how many books do you have? What books do you have exactly in your collection? And it's quite a few, so I'm going to go over just a few of them that I really like and talk a little bit about them. Right here we have the special collector's edition of the Riffs book, the original Riffs. Came out in around 95. I'm not sure when I picked this up in the 90s, but I remember picking this up because I thought it was a cool cover. And it was on sale. So, yeah. Riffs is a good game. Here's my original Riffs book. Beat the shit out of it. You see, things all coming off. But this is the one I originally got when I was in high school and played the hell out of this. But yeah, picked this up later on. Riffs Chaos, Chaos Earth, I should say. I'm not really familiar with it at all. I heard some really good things about this. Is kind of right before everything in Riffs, kind of war type thing. But yeah. So the supplements I have for Riffs are Riffs Japan. Get this out of the way for you. Eternal Torment, which is part of the lands. Mineworks is a source book. Mechanoids, Atlantis. Vampire Kingdoms, which I spent a lot of time reading because the Vampire Kingdoms is really interesting to me, and I think a campaign going into Vampire Kingdoms would be awesome because of the way it's just set up, and I don't know, I just really love the vampires. Of course, we have the conversion book, which we all need when we want to convert certain things. But we'll put that aside for now. Another thing that I have that I really love, Dead Rain. It's one of the newer things I picked up out of the line, and I have never actually played it, but I love the read-through for this book. This book is like part survival guide, the way it's written, the way it... how the zombies are a little bit different, but you can make it into anything you really want it to be. You don't have to go by what the book says, how they eat the PPE. And I don't know. I like the zombies because they can scream. They attract other zombies. It's a really cool, fun environment. There's a lot of supplements out for it. I don't have any of them. I just have this book because I never got a chance to actually play it, like I said. But that could be changing. So we shall see. Dead Rain, definitely pick that up. I have. Nightbane, I've never, try to get that in the light for you. I've never actually played Nightbane because, I don't know, I never had a chance to, but I've heard some good things about it, and I picked it up when it came out. Grabbed some of the supplements, as you can see. And they're interesting reads. I just never got a chance to go through the horror of Nightbane. I mean, I like games like that, so I definitely would like to play that one day. Here's something that not a lot of people have. Well, they probably have, but not a lot of people know much about or do anything about is Recon. Vietnam-era role-playing game. It's not even really compatible with anything in Palladium as far as the Megaverse is concerned. It has its own set of rules, and you can die really fast in here. So it's a good idea to make up a lot of characters and be ready. I don't know how accurate it is, but I would imagine that Kevin did consult with some people that were part of the war and, you know, the vets in the war, and it actually has a pretty cool statement about whether you agree with it or not and what guerrilla warfare is all about here in the world according to it. But I mean, it's really up to you. It should be enough. Here it is. Sometimes it comes to a shock to realize that most of the buyers of this game, youngsters under the age of 21, only have a dim idea of the Vietnam War. Regardless of what you may have heard, the soldiers who served there and the soldiers who died there were brave and gallant and served their country gloriously. The real shame of the Vietnam era is our veterans were abused and ignored. Absolutely true. Absolutely agree that troops and veterans need to be treated better in the country, and not a political statement, it's just something that's a fact. I may be doing something on this later on. I don't have the other editions. I think this is the only edition I have. I know there's an advanced and then there's a deluxe Revise, which adds the advanced to, and I think I'll just work on this for now because it's actually pretty cool, and I've never actually got to play it. It's something I wanted to look into doing, but yeah. And then, of course, we have Heroes Unlimited. Yay. Played this a little bit, not much. I did like it as a superheroes game. I thought it was pretty interesting. The Villains Unlimited as well, because, you know, who doesn't need villains and stats and things like that. But yeah. Robotech comes up next. We all played Robotech probably once, twice, 3 times. Played the F out of this when I was in middle school. We could not stop playing this game. I don't know why. We just loved Robotech at the time, and I liked the fighting mechs, and I liked the whole storyline. But yeah, I had 2 of these. That's all I really had from that, as far as that is concerned. Now I have Turtles. Here's one of the original covers. It's the black. And it is one of the original. I think this is the original. I got this back when this was the original. 1985. And what's in this is the table in here that they had to pull out because it wasn't politically correct, I guess, at the time. The parents flipped out because of... I think this is the edition that has it, but yeah, here we go. They listed the neuroses here, and you could be focus there. You could be like homosexual, have fetishism, pedophilia, transvestism, things like that were listed in the medical diseases of the time, and he actually used a legit psychology book. And apparently it wasn't well received, so later on in the revised, they actually pulled it out. I had picked this up later on when we needed another book, but yeah. It also had the Trans-Dimensional Turtles to play with Rift also. Good game overall. I really do like Turtles, but I wish they would have... I think they updated Turtles with After the Bomb and things like that. I never really got into it, though. Next, we have Palladium Fantasy. I have various ones of these books because I used to run the F out of this game because I love... This was, as I said in one of my other videos, my first exposure to Palladium game, or the Palladium system itself. I actually... like I said, I met my friend Desmond, and when I was going into high school, a young 13-year-old going into high school, and I was kind of tired of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition at that point, and pissed off at the fact that nobody would want to play 1st edition anymore. And he was just like, you know what? I got a game you'll love. That's just like it. It's still being, you know, there's still plenty of books for it. It's awesome. He handed me a book just like this. This is not the original book that I had. I don't have the original book like this I had. I only have some of the copies I had picked up over the years. I wish I kept it, but I mean, yeah, this one is from the 90s, you can tell. Now it's all chewed up. And this one I got a little bit later on, but yeah. It was a fun time to play Palladium Fantasy, and I liked it a lot, and this was my gateway into the Palladium system before jumping into Rifts later on. So, yeah. Get that out of the way. I do have Palladium 2nd edition, or Fantasy 2nd edition, with some supplements for that. Yeah, I have a bunch of Rifters and a bunch of more books for it. I need more for Fantasy 2nd edition to get into that, because it's I like the rule set for Rift and how it moved, and everything's one big megaverse. So yeah, so that's what I have for books. Oh yeah, and I have some Rifters, but this is probably one of my favorite Rifters. We've probably all seen this one, Rifter 9.5, the April Fool's Day Spectacular, where you could draw your own cover, and it had some goofy things in it. It was actually a lot of fun read, you know. But yeah, so that is my collection. So those that were interested in what I had, and I know it's a little bit of a short video, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I want to say keep it original, keep it old school. And if you have any questions, don't forget to drop me a comment below. Also, ask the Evil DM or ask the DM at theevildm.com for questions, or just leave a comment with something you want to be talked about, and we'll get right into that. And also hit the like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you get that video right away. Thanks, everybody.